All right. Good evening, baseball fans. It is the 19th of February, so we're getting closer and closer to opening day, man. But spring training games kicking up pretty soon, and we keep celebrating baseball as we always do in this little family. So continuing tonight, some Action PC Baseball 2025. This is the Decades League. Again, as I've said many times, this is an older subset of the Baseball History Collection. And by the way, right now, the Baseball History Collection is on sale at DK Sports. So you should pick it up. While this subset isn't available, it's pretty easy to kind of create your own if you want. And also just ask Dave Cook, hey, update it to add the 2010s and re-release this thing. But this is great. It's just the Baseball History Collection is awesome. Even though I have every season for this game and everything, this is the collection that I just return to time and time and time and time again. The things that you can do with the Baseball History Collection, it's just mind-boggling. All right, so I thought tonight we would kind of bring things into with two teams here that are really kind of kicking it up. So a little bit more modern, the 1980s versus the 1960s, St. McCarty versus Drysdale. And I think we'll go ahead and do it that way. So let's play. Hey, there's Samuel Smith giving me some good. So before we start the game, some good news. I guess they're going to be there's going to be a retool sometime in April of Lance Hafner Full Count Baseball. Really looking forward to that because I can't get it to run full screen and I can't get it to find the paths to the seasons. And guys, I'm really anxious. I really want to do it because it's just looking at the screenshots and reading the manual to it. It's actually a pretty deep game. And boy, you want seasons? They're all there. Oh my God. I didn't realize how many seasons there were for that game. Again, it's a very DOSy looking thing, but right now it's so tiny and I can't even get it to find teams. So that was great news by Samuel. Really, really appreciate that. And apparently there's some movement on Out of the Park Go. I'm going to kind of troll around the forum. So again, Samuel, thank you for that. And also he kindly reminded me about National Pastime Next Generation Plus. All the seasons are free in that game. It's excellent, excellent APA clone. So just to bring that to your attention as well. For right now, put the seasons in the main. So in the program. So what I'm not understanding though, Samuel, is like the IDs. I mean, I could bring up the folder that I have them in because I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be typing in. And also, I don't know. I mean, I do not know. I've looked at the properties and everything. I can't get that screen any larger than the size of like 3 postage stamps. But unless maybe it switches to a full screen when it goes to field view or something. I do know you have to hit for VGA, for graphics to show the ballpark, so you can play it as it used to look in the Commodore 64 and I guess Apple II and stuff like that. But I'll give that a go. So put them in the main body because I have the seasons or the teams or whatever in a subdirectory. That's where I just thought they went, but I can certainly move them out and see. Because I really would like to try it. And even if it's just for me, I'm going to make a subfolder, the teams that can't pick it up. So is it running on a very tiny screen for you as well, Samuel? Or is there something I've missed? Because it doesn't seem like it needs configuring for DOSBox or anything like that. So I'd just like to be able to, for viewers to see it. But okay, that's a great tip about the team. So even if I have to look at it in a little tiny window, I can still learn how to play it. Because I've always wanted to play full count baseball and somehow never got the chance. And there you go. So same for you. So tiny screen. Hopefully that will be fixed. At least they can get up to a decent resolution. So because I really, really do want to play it. It seems like on the Facebook page there's a lot of love given to the football game. But if you dig around, there's lots of stuff out there for full count baseball. So yeah, it'd be really nice. I mean, because if anything, maybe more people seeing it on YouTube channels would be more inclined to give it a go. So, but yeah. So thank you for that, Samuel. I really appreciate it. Samuel always giving me great book recommendations, reminding me of games, telling me about what's going on with games. I had no idea that there was some possible things going on with Out of the Park Go. So once you get it going, plays like Diamond Mine, then I'm gonna love it. Then if it plays like Diamond Mine, I will be completely over the moon about that. So thank you, my friend. Thank you. Love to get you on some night to talk some baseball games, man. Definitely. All right, a little baseball tonight. I see Legends is doing basketball. Nobody else is doing baseball. So I thought, why not? Why not? Why not? So did some Out of the Park last night, and now a little bit of action PC. So Al Kaline looks like he's inactive, at least for right now. So Kaline not getting a start. Clemente also out. So we'll see what the game does here. Let's set a lineup. All right, well, Frank Robinson in right field. That's not too bad. I think it's a pretty good lineup right there. Let's get into game action. Okay, a little late scratch here. It looks like McCaddy not starting. It's going to be Steve Rogers versus Don Drysdale. So Steve Rogers, 2.98 earned run average. That's coming into tonight's game. He hasn't pitched yet, as far as I know. But Don Drysdale is 1-0 and an ERA of 0.81. So, yep, this will be his first start, Steve Rogers. So McCaddy gets scratched, and we're ready to go here. All right, let's look at the starting defense here. The 1980s holding down first place at 8 wins, 3 losses. The 1960s at 7 wins, 4 losses. So very, very close. I think half game or a game back, if that. So it should be a good matchup tonight. Looking at the 1960s, in left field, Billy Williams. In center, Veda Pinson. In right field, the judge, Frank Robinson. At first base, the baby bull, Orlando Cepeda. May his memory be eternal. At second, Bill Mazeroski. At short, Jim Fregosi. At third, a veritable wizard there, Brooks Robinson. And catching will be Elston Howard and Don Drysdale on the mound. All right, leading things off here for the 1980s, Tim Raines. Tim Raines hitting 200 with 2 runs batted in, riding a 7-game hitting streak. All right, and here we go in the south side of Chicago. The 1-1 pitch on the way from Drysdale. A little drizzle falling here in the south side of Chicago. This one, little hopper to third. Quick throw there by Robinson. Staying with that ball. Very, very close play. Good heads-up play to stay with that ball. Raines, you can't give that guy a millimeter or he is on. So one away now for second baseman Ryne Sandberg. So Sandberg hitting 289 with a home run, 4 runs batted in. Pretty good crowd here in the south side of Chicago today. We're using this park for a while. Be changing it up again soon. The next one probably will be Ebbets Field. So every team playing in just the same park, but different parks throughout this project, and everything neutral, not using any park effects or anything. So, all right, here we go. The wind and the pitch by Don Drysdale. 1-0 pitch. This one, speared and back up the middle. A hard line drive off the bat of Ryne Sandberg, and Don Drysdale just gloves it beautifully and bravely, I might add, too. I mean, that ball had some velocity on it. First great play of the season there for the great Don Drysdale. 2 down now, and it brings up Wade Boggs, tracing the Hebrew letter in the batting box. Don't know what kind of chicken he had before tonight's game, but Boggs hitting 262 with 5 runs batted in, has yet to homer in the season. All right, the lefty digs in against Don Drysdale. The 1-0 pitch, and this one slapped to first, and Orlando Cepeda takes it to the bag himself for the final out of the inning. We go to the bottom of the first. The 1980s nothing, and the 1960s coming to bat. Looking at the starting defense for the 1980s squad, in left field, Tim Raines. In center, Dale Murphy. In right field, Dwight Evans. At first base, Keith Hernandez. At second, Ryne Sandberg. At short, Cal Ripken Jr. At third, Wade Boggs. Catching, Gary Carter. All right, so Steve Rogers making his first appearance, but coming into this stats before the season, a 2.98 on an average. 14 wins, 12 losses, 259 and 2/3 innings worked, 237 hits. Gave up 13 dingers, walked 72, struck out 154, a whip of 1.190. So remember, this uses the peak slice of a player's career. The longer the career, the shorter the slice. All right, Vada Pinson leading things off here, hitting 256, 3 runs batted in for the former Cincinnati center fielder, who some argue should be in the Hall of Fame, and I think there's some merit to that argument. All right, Pinson gets the bunt down, but tried to catch the 1980s napping. It didn't happen. Boggs and Carter converging on that play, but Boggs getting to it first and firing on to Keith Hernandez. So Vada Pinson 1 down, and here comes Jim Fregosi now. Fregosi hitting 263. He has 2 home runs, 3 runs batted in. All right, thank you, folks, for hanging out, and for those that will be catching the game later. 1-1 pitch to Fregosi, swung on. Roller to Boggs, close play at first, and they get Fregosi by a half step. So 2 up, 2 down now for the Baby Bull. Orlando Cepeda off to a smoking start. 421 average, 2 home runs, 7 runs batted in. Rogers deals 1-2 pitch, and Cepeda looks at a called strike 3 and a changeup. No runs, no hits, no errors. We've played 1 inning here in Chicago, and we are scoreless. All right, Dwight Evans, Cal Ripken Jr., and Keith Hernandez drew up for the 1980s. Evans hitting .405 with 4 home runs and 13 RBI. We are in game number 12 for these teams. Drysdale delivers, swinging on the first pitch, bounding ball to third. Robinson up with it quickly and gets Evans. Great play out there by Brooks Robinson. But again, baseball fans know this is one of the greatest third basemen of all time. And not just defensively either. He had some pop in his bat, too. So look at his record. Robinson could crank the ball. All right. Here is Cal Ripken Jr. Not having a good start to the season, just hitting 194. Drysdale deals the 0-1 pitch to Ripken. Ripken rips one to right. Base hit. Robinson up with it. Fires into Mazeroski. So Ripken aboard. Ripken, not known as a base stealer, just 2 coming into the season. And here's Keith Hernandez. Hernandez hitting a healthy 321, 5 runs batted in. No score as Don Drysdale lets it go. Hernandez cuts in the first pitch, driven to center all the way to the wall. Billy Williams up with it to throw home. Howard's tag not in time. And the 1980s draw first blood here in the top of the second. Keith Hernandez picking up the RBI double, and that's the second double of the season. All right, stepping in now with center fielder Dale Murphy. Murphy batting in the number 7 slot. Murphy hitting 263, 2 home runs, 9 runs batted in. Howard sets the target. Drysdale brings it home. The 1-1 pitch. Murphy swings on this one. Lined foul, and this is going to make the seats third base side. All right, Murphy back in there now. The count 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Dale Murphy, that's a called strike 3. So Drysdale took a little bit of something off of that, and the umpire throwing up the hand. So 2 away. Hernandez remains at second for Gary Carter. Gary Carter hitting 303, he of eternal memory. 4 home runs, 12 runs batted in for Carter. Drysdale has the sign in the 1-2 pitch. Carter swings, hard ground ball to short for Fregosi, up and over to Cepeda for the 6-3 putout. That ends the inning, but 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and we've played 1.5 here in the south side of Chicago. The 1980s 1 and the 1960s nothing. Billy Williams will lead things off here, the number 4, 5, 6 hitters. So we've got Billy Williams, Frank Robinson, and Brooks Robinson. All right, Billy hitting just 150, 3 runs batted in. So the 1960s wanting to get Billy's bat going here. All right, Steve Rogers deals. Williams swings in the first pitch. Ground ball up the middle. Ripken ranges to his left, fires onto Keith Hernandez for out number 1. All right, here comes the judge. 273 average in the season, 2 home runs, 5 ribbies for him. D. Scott Howard, welcome in, my friend. Been a while since we've seen you. Hope all is well with you, our resident animal guru whisperer out there on the left coast. All right, you got to be happy with your Dodgers prospects again this year. 1-1 pitch. Hard hit out to left field, but Raines back on it, short of the track, makes the catch. It's 2 up, 2 down now for Brooks Robinson, hitting .263. He has 2 round trippers, 5 ribbies for him. Steve Rogers has the sign from Carter. Here's the wind and the 2-0 pitch. Swung on. Lazy fly ball to right. Evans, ranging in a few steps, makes the catch. No runs, no hits, no errors. 2 in the books here in the south side of Chicago. 1980s lead the 1960s 1-0. All right, Steve Rogers, and then we go around to the top of the order. Tim Raines and Ryne Sandberg. So Rogers, obviously, first appearance, so no stats yet. Drysdale deals to his mound opponent, and this one lined up the middle, base hit. Mazeroski tries to get to it, but under the webbing and into center field. Pinson fires it in. So Steve Rogers is aboard. Tim Raines now 0 for 1, grounded to third. Last time up, 2-2 pitch. Oh, big swing and a miss by Tim Raines. So Don Drysdale has K'd his second. All right, Ryne Sandberg, 0 for 1. He lined right back to Drysdale. I mean, that was a bullet. Drysdale just gloved it. Bam, done. All right, Rogers about a step off of first. 0-2 pitch. Skied to right field. Medium deep. Frank Robinson gloves it for out number 2. All right, Wade Boggs grounded to first his last time up. Drysdale works quickly. 1-1 pitch. Swung on, grounder to third, and Brooks Robinson goes to Mazeroski to cut down Rogers for out number 3. The runs, 1 hit, no errors. We go to the bottom of the third, and our score is 1-0. Will Toole joins us. Hey, Will, how you doing? He says, do an a PC tutorial in the encyclopedia sometime and how you use it to add in multiple seasons. Yes. Now, that being said, Will, because you're a member of the Field of Dreams League and you probably see Steve Tate pretty regularly. Steve has done a couple videos on the encyclopedia. Steve is the guru of action PC baseball, and I'm sure Steve would be also willing to help. But yeah, well, I would be glad to do it. I think Steve is far more qualified, but yeah, I'd be happy to do that for you. But in the meantime, reach out to Steve in the Discord. He may be able to just find the link to the video where he goes in more in depth about the encyclopedia. It's a powerful feature of Action PC Baseball, as you know. All right. So former Yankee Elston Howard to lead off. The 7, 8, 9 hitters due up for the 1960s. Elston Howard, Bill Mazeroski, and Don Drysdale. Elston Howard, seeing some limited play time right now, so he's 2 for 4 with 2 doubles and an RBI. All right, Steve Rogers is ready to work here. The 1-2 pitch, and Elston Howard, big cut and a miss. Steve right 3. Rogers has K'd 2 now in this game, and it brings up former Bucko second baseman Bill Mazeroski. Maz hitting .250 with 5 ribbies in the season. Late rain continues to fall here, but the umpires don't consider it any sort of threat as Steve Rogers deals. 0-1 pitch to Maz. This one deflects off of Rogers, but Ripken able to get to the ball, and Mazeroski is retired for the second out. So good leather flashing out there by Cal Ripken Jr. All right, here's Don Drysdale. So Drysdale is 3 for 8 on the season. So hitting .375 if you don't feel like doing the math. Steve Rogers has a quick look at his legendary mound opponent. And the 1-2 pitch. Drysdale swings. Hard ground ball to short. Ripken, with plenty of time, fires on to Keith Hernandez. Score that one 6-3. And that retires the side. No runs, hits, or errors. 3 done here in Chicago. And it's 1-0, 1980s. All right, number 4, 5, 6 hitters due up for the first place 1980s. So Evans, Ripken, and Hernandez. Dwight Evans in the game, grounded to third, back in the second. Drysdale with the 0-2 pitch. Evans swings. This one punched foul, and Robinson giving chase and reaches into the first row, makes the catch. Brooks Robinson covering a lot of ground back there. And again, go on YouTube and look at Look at some of the just the highlight reels of Brooks Robinson. It's trick photography, man. Has to be, except that people were there and saw it. All right, here is Cal Ripken Jr. 1-for-1, singled back in the second. Score 1-0 here in the fourth. Don Drysdale to work, and Ripken first pitch swinging, and this one lined all the way down the left field line to the corner. Billy Williams plays it off the wall, and Cal Ripken Jr. picks up his third double of the year. So one away now. Speaking of doubles, here's Keith Hernandez. RBI double back in the second that gave the 1980s its 1-0 lead. So one away and a chance here for Keith Hernandez to increase that lead. All right, the lefty stands in against Don Drysdale. Full count on Hernandez, and Hernandez is going to take ball 4. Hernandez checks his swing just in time. Is that ball up just a little high? Drysdale trying to get him to chase a little bit of high cheese, and Keith wasn't biting. All right, Dale Murphy, 0-for-1. He struck out against Don Drysdale. Don Drysdale's fan 2. Cal Ripken Jr. at second. Keith Hernandez at first, 1 away. 2-1 pitch on the way. Murphy swings, driven to center field, but too high. Pinson has it. Ripken is not going to run on that arm. So 2 down now for Gary Carter. Gary Carter grounded to short back in the second. Elston Howard with the signs. Don Drysdale sets and delivers the 1-0 pitch. And this one hit on a low line to center field, and Veda Pinson makes the catch. So no runs, 1 hit, no errors. Bottom of the fourth, it's 1-0. Yeah, thank you, Will. Thank you. And I'm sure Steve is sort of like the way Mike Garland is with Out of the Park PC, Out of the Park Baseball. Steve could be one of the developers. He knows this game better than anybody. All right, here's Veda Pinson. He bunted out back in the first, so Pinson, we're back at the top of the order for the 1960s. And the bottom of the first, he tried to catch the 1980 squad napping to no avail. All right, Steve Rogers ready to work. The 0-1 pitch, and Pinson popped high in the left side of the infield. Boggs waving off Ripken and gloves it for out number 1. All right, here comes shortstop Jim Fregosi. Fregosi grounded to third back in the first. Steve Rogers studies the hitter, and he uncorks the 3-1 pitch. Fregosi pops this behind the plate, and Carter back to the backstop, but this one's going to make the seats about 4 rows back. Fregosi back in the box, the count full. Fregosi swings, line drive, base hit to left, and that one breaks up the no-hitter. All right. So 1-0 game here. Good pitchers duel going on, and here's the baby bull now, 0-for-1. He struck out against Steve Rogers back in the first. Fregosi at first, not known as a base stealer. He does have 1 so far this season. Rogers checks the runner, comes home with it. 1-0 pitch. Boggs up with it. He'll go to first, but Cepeda. Oh, they get Cepeda by a millionth of a step. That was a close play. All right, 2 away. Fregosi moves to second on the play for Billy Williams. Billy grounded to Cal Ripken last time up. Rogers checks Fregosi at second, looks home, and the 0-2 pitch. Billy Williams. This one over the head of Keith Hernandez. Billy Williams picks up an RBI single in the 1960s, tied up here in the bottom of the fourth. It's 1-1. All right, some cheering going on here in Chicago for the 1960s squad. All right, the judge gave it a ride to deep left back in the second inning. 2 down and a runner on. Steve Rogers comes home with a count even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fly ball, center field. Murphy ranges to his right and picks it for out number 3. But the 1960s pick up a run on 2 hits. There were no errors. We've played 4, and we are knotted at 1. All right, so Steve Rogers, then back at the top of the order. Tim Raines and Ryan Sandberg drew up for the 1980s. Just 24 minutes into the game, and here we are halfway through. All right. So Steve Rogers lined a single back in the third. So this is his first game in this season. McCaddy was a late scratch. Steve Rogers getting the nod. All right, Don Drysdale delivers. Rogers swings in the first pitch. 2 hopper to third. Robinson up and over to Cepeda. And that will be a 5-3 put out. Back at the top of the order now. Tim Raines on a 7-game hitting streak. He is 0 for 2. All right, the lefty in there against Drysdale. 3-0 pitch, and Raines is going to draw the walk. So this one a little bit high and outside, and Tim Raines is aboard. And Tim Raines, more speed here than the Starship Enterprise. 6 steals so far this season. Expected to steal anywhere from 68 to 70. As Ryan Sandberg in the box now, he is 0 for 2. 1 away. Wouldn't be surprised to see Raines try to run on Elston Howard. Let's see. And there goes Raines, and he steals this base uncontested. All right. So just Elston Howard just realized Raines had such a great jump. 7th theft for Mr. Raines on the season. All right, so the 1980s with 1 out and a runner now in scoring position. Ryan Sandberg back in the box in the 0-1 pitch. Oh, Sandberg, big cut and a miss. Don Drysdale with his 3rd strikeout. So 2 down now for Wade Boggs, who's grounded out twice. Boggs in there now, waits for the delivery from Drysdale. The 1-1 on the way, and Boggs lines this one into left, and that's going to be an RBI single. Coming in to score is Tim Raines. So 2-1 now, 1980s. Being able to manufacture runs when need be. And that's why they've been holding on to first place after the first week of the season at least. All right, here's Dewey Evans now 0 for 2. He popped a 3rd last time. So Red Sox at bat and former Red Sox on at first. Drysdale, count full. And Dwight Evans draws the walk. All right, so 2 former Boston 9 players on the sacks now, and Cal Ripken Jr. a perfect 2 for 2 today with a single and a double. Drysdale ready to deal. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. So Drysdale picks up number 4, but the 1980s pick up a run and a hit, no errors, and we go to the bottom of the 5th. 1980s lead the 1960s 2-1. And a drizzly day here in Chicago, 42 degrees. All right, Brooks Robinson now, followed by Elston Howard and Bill Mazeroski here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Fly to shallow right last time. Steve Rogers ready to deal. Count full. Robinson swings. 2-hopper to Ripken. Ripken could have gotten out of Chaise Lounge and just lobbed that ball over. Plenty of time. It was hit hard enough. So 1 away now for Elston Howard. Strikeout victim against Rogers back in the 3rd inning. Carter sets up. Rogers brings it home. 2-1 pitch. Popped high in the 3rd base side. Twisting foul. Ripken giving chase. Near the dugout. Makes the catch. So 2 up, 2 down now for Bill Mazeroski. He grounded to his opposite number last time up. 0-2 pitch. And Mazeroski swings and misses. Drop 3rd strike. Carter fires down to 1st. And that does it. So nothing across for the 1960s. We head to the top of inning number 6. Our score is still 2-1 in favor of the 1980s. Keith Hernandez, Dale Murphy, and Gary Carter due up. And for those of you wondering, yes, Dead Ball will be making a return to the channel very, very, very soon. I just haven't seen Cousin Ken or Clinton around, so I've been holding off on some Dead Ball action, but it's coming back. All right, Hernandez is 1 for 1 with a double and a walk, and an RBI double was back in the 2nd. All right, Don Drysdale has struck out 4 and walked 3. 0-2 pitch to Hernandez. And Hernandez swings, little grounder back to the mound, quick off the bump as Drysdale fires on to Cepeda. Score that one 1-3. All right, here's Dale Murphy now. Dale Murphy flew out his last time up, also a strikeout victim of Don Drysdale, who works home to him. First pitch swinging, lined hard. Mazeroski spearing that one out of the air. So 2 away. Cousin Ken, he says, listening while writing lineups. All right, good to see you, cuz. So now you know Dead Ball in 19th century. We're going to be coming back. It'll be coming back. It will always be my first loves, those two. All right, here's Gary Carter. Gary Carter flied out his last time up, or flew out, however you want to say it. Has flown out. 1-0 pitch. Grounder to Maz. Room service bounce on to Orlando Cepeda. So they go quietly. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Good ball game we have here. It's 2-1. And we have Don Drysdale, Tim Raines, and Don Drysdale, Veda Pinson, and Jim Fregosi. 9, 1, and 2 due up. Guys, just to remind you again, check out Legend Sports Universe Season 4 of the Franchise Stars Baseball League. It's absolutely off the charts, amazing, gripping stuff. Great, great, great games. Also keep up with Robert Argeo Network and his 1983 replay. Clee Baseball Fan 879, his Gaylord Perry replay. Our Red Sox fan doing a bicentennial 1976 tournament. So lots of people doing a lot of cool stuff, guys. And I love talking about the projects people are doing on their respective channels. And all good baseball stuff. Of course, those guys do other sports too. So there we go. All right, Drysdale is nothing for one. He grounded out to Cal Ripken Jr. last time up. Steve Rogers ready to bring it home. The 2-1 pitch to his opposite number. Drysdale, bouncer to Sandberg, bare hands it on to Keith Hernandez for the 4-3 put out, and 1 away as Cousin Ken Castro doing lineups for another go around with the APA Bats League, which is just superb stuff. That is great stuff. We got to get Ken on here sometime. I'd love for Ken to just come on and talk about projects he's done. Longtime cards and dice player, brilliant journalist, good eye for the, well, I don't know. Let's just say that Cousin Ken's got a good eye, and we'll leave it at that. All right, Veda Pinson, we're back at the top of the order here. And he is bunted out and popped out. Rogers deals 0-2 pitch, and Pinson just can't get a break. Chases a bad pitch. Steve Rogers has fanned his 4th. So 2 down now for Fregosi. Singled back in the 4th. 1-0 pitch. Fregosi cuts on this, and liner base hit past Ripken into left field. So Fregosi aboard with 2 away now for Orlando Cepeda. Cepeda with a swing of the bat could give the 1960s a lead right here. A 1 pitch. Cepeda swings. Nope, just a dribbler to Rogers. Rogers to Hernandez. And that is out number 3. Top of the 7th. It is 2-1. The line so far for the 1980s, 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors. They've left 6. For the 1960s, 1 run, 3 hits, no errors. And they have stranded 2 out there on the pond. All right. So Steve Rogers leading things off here for the 1980s in the top of the 7th. And we go to Raines and Sandberg. 9, 1, and 2 due up. Steve Rogers singled back in the 3rd and grounded out in the 5th. Drysdale winds and fires the 0-2 pitch. Steve Rogers had no chance. Wasn't going to got a little piece of it, but that's it. Elston Howard holds on for out number 1. Back at the top of the order for the speedy Mr. Tim Raines, who walked back in the 5th. 0 for 2. Riding that 7-game hitting streak. Drysdale brings it. 1-0 pitch on Raines. Raines swings, and just a little short grounder there to Bill Mazeroski. Mazeroski anticipating that coming in as Raines was swinging. So 2 away. Good play there by Maz at 2nd. Sandberg riding the bubble here. He is 0 for 3. Wearing the collar, we might say. 0-2 pitch. Sandberg swings, and this one tapped foul. 3rd base side. Count, no balls, 2 strikes. Sandberg straightens it out, but right to Orlando Cepeda. Score that one 3 unassisted. 7th inning stretch time, 2-1. And we're back, and I want to remind everybody watching now and maybe catching this later, if you are so inclined, The baseball history collection is on sale. So let me just double check, but I did see an email about that, and I do believe it was today. If you only buy, if you've only like bought the base game or something like that or whatever, and you're not really you don't really want to do a lot of maybe a big investment in this game, which really does deserve it. The history collections are just, the baseball history collection is amazing, and it's normally $49. It's on sale right now for $34.30. So I'm going to pull this over so you guys can see what this comprises. Now, again, the league I'm using was an older subset of this, and hopefully Dave will update it to add the 2010s. So what do you get? More than 18,400 retired players based on a representative peak slice of each player's career. The subsets for the 2024 version, this is usually updated every June or so. So first you have the creme de la creme here, you might say. So out of those 18,400 plus players, there is a subset of over 1,600 players from the master set who exceeded 5,000 plate appearances, 2,000 innings pitched, or 500 games pitched. Then you get a larger pool of 8,000 players who exceeded 500 plate appearances, 200 innings pitched, or 50 games pitched. Now we get down to the really, really fun stuff. These two things here. Debut year subsets. So this includes 14 special subsets, one for each decade. Debut subsets contain all players who made their big league debut during that decade. A big fan of the 70s, you can quickly create a league with only players who debuted during that decade. Imagine like what you could do. It's that's why I love the baseball history collection, and there's so many other older subsets to this too. There's a franchise greats to it. The Decades League here that I'm doing. Next one is birth country subsets. So this includes subsets based on birth country, included are Canada, Cuba, the Dominican Republic, Germany, Ireland, Japan, Mexico, Panama, Puerto Rico, the United Kingdom, the United States, and Venezuela. So players are created using the best 35 to 100% of their career. The longer the career, the smaller the percentage used. Each season or a portion of the season used is normalized for their home park for that season. Outlier seasons are adjusted to lessen their impact. All players are then assigned to a neutral home park in a year based on a weighted usage of the seasons included in the career slice. In an effort to remove significant outlier years, the year listed for each player does not always represent the best year of his career. Ratings and statistics are based on official Dave Cook Sports season files from 1880 to present. Again, $34.30, and you can do the calculations yourself of how many the number's too big to read. I did it one night on a stream a year ago. How many possible combinations and permutations from this set? You have probably a million lifetimes of baseball if you didn't sleep, eat, breathe, shag, or anything like that. H-Field says he's going to have to get this. He only has a couple seasons in Action PC. I love all-star style games. Got your start with Catacomb, so this would be a fun set to get. I love it, man. And right now, you can't, on sale. And again, just I'm playing this, which again, he needs to update for the 2010s. This Decades set is great, but imagine you pick your era of baseball and say, I just want to do a league of guys that, made their debut, in the, well, if this was Cousin Ken and I, the 1890s, you can do it, man. 1960s, whatever. So much you can do with the baseball history collection. You could kind of just recreate all-star games, right? If you wanted. I mean, they would be like having the all-star games. You need the seasons to do that, but really your imagination is the limit. And for $34 right now, it's really a great deal. And as I said, it gets updated usually every June. So I am in no way, shape, or form do I receive even a penny from Dave Cook. I am just a very, very happy customer of this excellent baseball game. All right, back to action here, bottom of the seventh. Billy Williams, Frank Robinson, and Brooks Robinson due up. RBI single for Billy Williams. And it was RBI single back in the fourth. It scored Jim Fregosi and tied this game at that time. 2-1. Good pitching duel here going on between Steve Rogers and Don Drysdale. Rogers getting having the better end of the stick right now with a 1-run lead. 1-0 pitch on the way. Billy Williams cuts on this, and this one skied foul. Third base side. Boggs gives chase, and lots of room here in Chicago. Boggs reaching in and making the play. All right, great play, says the scorekeeper. All right, Frank Robinson, the judge is 0-for-2, has flown out twice. Steve Rogers would like to keep it that way, keep this big bat quiet. Here's the pitch. Robinson swings, and this one scorched to left. Raines and Murphy converging. Raines up with the ball and gets it in quickly. So Big Frank is aboard, and 13 steals coming into the season, so he has been known to commit both grand and petty larceny. All right, Brooks Robinson, 0-for-2. Grounded to short his last time up. Rogers has a check of Robinson at first. Carter out to have a quick word with Rogers. Back behind the dish. Here's the pitch. Robinson swinging in the first pitch. This is going to get down for a base hit, and Frank Robinson will move to third. Runners at first and third. You could spend the rest. How about it? John DFW saying here, you could spend the rest of your life with just the baseball history collection. Man, oh man, are you right about that? I love, and again, I own every season for this game. It cost me a lot over the years to do it, but I find myself returning to this time and time and time and time again. It did a great job in our McGreevy leagues. The next McGreevy league is going to be an out of the park 26, but that's just for because we want to go a little bit deeper with player management and development, things that Out of the Park offers. But this is great. And again, if you just buy the basic game and you just buy the baseball history collection, man, you're good to go. You are good to go. But then you're going to say, hey, what about this baseball's best 160 teams? That's another nice one. That's nice low price, and you get 160 teams, or is it 180? I can't remember. Whatever, for usually $20-some. Imagine what you can do with that set. So Dave always has sales. Excellent ball game here. All right, so one away. Frank Robinson is at third. Brooks over at first for Elston Howard. He's a frustrated 0-for-2. The only time he put bat on the ball was a little pop out to Cal Ripken Jr. Steve Rogers having to work out of the stretch. And the 0-2 pitch. Elston Howard swings, rips this up the middle, and Sandberg is going to go to first to get Howard. But coming in to score is, no, that's a double play. Oh, my goodness, double play. All right, so we're going to do a video replay just because it's not as sexy as Out of the Park, but I'm going to see what happened. That was fast. So Howard up the middle. So not quite sure. It looks like Robinson crosses the plate, but the run doesn't score. Robinson going for home. Should be 2. Steps on second to call it 2. So, wow. Is this like a... this is weird. Oh, okay. That ended the inning. I'm looking up here. What the hell happened? All right. So it's an inning double play. I'm like... Action PC never misses on the score. All right, top of the 8th we go. Sorry for that faux pas, gents. Mea culpa. Wade Boggs, number 3, 4, 5 hitters due up for the 1980s. Boggs with an RBI single that scored Tim Raines back in the 5th. Can't believe I just could have just looked up here. There, not that, but just could have looked up here. All right. Anyhow, Don Drysdale deals a 1-1 pitch. No one expects me to be good at this anyhow. 1-1 pitch is out of here. Wade Boggs has just put run number 3 on the board for the 1980s. I got to remember to turn that off. First home run of the season, 376 feet. for Mr. Boggs. And here's the cleanup hitter now. Dwight Evans walked his last time up. Drysdale deals. And this one, oh my goodness gracious. I thought that was out of here, but just very high, and Billy Williams tracking it down. So one away. Now for Cal Ripken Jr., he's sporting a 2 for 3 today. Struck out back in the 5th. Ripken, 0-2 pitch on the way. And Cal Ripken foul tips it. And Elston Howard holds on for out number 2. All right, here's Keith Hernandez now. RBI double back in the 2nd. Drysdale with a 3-1 pitch behind. And Keith Hernandez, this one, he takes ball 4 high and outside. So Hernandez on with 2 down here in the top of the 8th inning. Dale Murphy, nothing for 3. Drysdale looks, brings it home, 2-1 pitch. Line drive, base hit, right field. And going for 3 is Keith Hernandez, and he's going to stop at 3rd. Runners at the corners, and here comes Gary Carter. Gary Carter with 4 home runs on the year. In the game, however, he is wearing the collar. Nothing for 3. Drysdale at 111 pitches. 1-2 pitch on the way. And Carter absolutely kills this one. And this game, buddy, you can almost put a fork in this one. 3-run shot by Gary Carter in the 1980s continue to just swing the lumber, get the pitching. They're doing it all right. It is 6-1. All right, Steve Rogers now in there. And, of course, they're going to allow Steve to hit. Drysdale getting touched up big time. And Don Drysdale has just walked Steve Rogers. And I think we're going to make an executive decision. Don Drysdale's day is done. And boy, oh boy. Let me see here. I think we're going to bring in Ted Abernathy. He's got the I'm liking the hit percentage chance here low enough for Abernathy. So Ted Abernathy will come in to relieve. All right. So when you walk the pitcher, you get touched up for a big dinger. Your day is done, whether you're Don Drysdale or Joe Smith or whatever. All right, so Tim Raines, he is trying to keep this to extend this 7-game hitting streak, but to no avail thus far. 0 for 3 and a walk. So Rogers on at first. First base coach telling Steve Rogers second base is that way. Abernathy finishes 1-1 pitch up the middle, but Ripken. Don't think Tim Raines is going to be extending this hitting streak. 4 runs, 3 hits, no errors. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning, the 1980s. Certainly not a heartbreaker here. It is 6-1. Drizzle continuing to fall here on this rather chilly day in the south side of Chicago. Temperatures dropped a bit now, 37 degrees, as Bill Mazeroski leads it off. So we'll have Mazeroski. We're going to have a pinch hitter then for Ted Abernathy. Maz is grounded out and struck out. Steve Rogers sitting in the catbird seat looking for a complete game win. 1 run. He scattered 5 hits. Rogers deals the count even at 2. Mazeroski, hard ground ball. Ripken has it and fires onto Hernandez. Ted Abernathy came in, did his job. We're going to go to the bench. And, oh my goodness, so many to choose from. And it's going to be the Say Hey Kid, Willie Mays is going to come on. Let's just go right to the artillery, man. Why not? Mays got enough speed. He gets on board, and he's got the power. So Willie Mays seeing limited action in the league right now. Just 1 for 4. He's got a double, 2 runs batted in, and a run scored. So here we go. Mays digs in. Rogers has the sign from Gary Carter. And the 0-2 pitch. Mays swings. Just a little dribbler to third. Boggs having trouble getting the ball, getting out of his glove. Late throw to Hernandez, and Willie Mays is aboard. Here we go. All right. So Mays, 21 steals coming into the season. Veda Pinson, 0 for 3. So tempting here to go to the bench. but really not a viable center fielder unless we leave Mays in on the double switch. But I think we're going to allow Pinson to hit. Down 6-1. Why not? All right, Rogers checks Mays. Mays decent lead off of first. He comes home with it now. Pinson, first pitch swinging. Sandberg will go to Hernandez in the 4-3 putout. So 2 down. Mays moves up to second. Jim Fregosi 2 for 3. Singled his last time. Up. 1-0 pitch. Cut on. Bouncer to first. Hernandez will take it to the bag himself. So we go to the top of the ninth, and we are going to see Ryne Sandberg, Wade Boggs, and Dwight Evans. We need a pitcher in here. Let's see. What do we got here? We got a righty leading off. Boy, it's not looking no joy in Mudville here because we get some high usage. So we're going to have somebody just soak up some innings here. And Eddie Fisher looks like he's going to get the nod. All right. So Willie Mays will have a seat. And Eddie Fisher making his first appearance of the season. Fisher coming in from last year, 2.79 under an average, 8 wins, 5 losses, 11 saves. But again, we're going to let Eddie just get some innings here. Here we go. 36 walks, 76 strikeouts for Eddie. And we are ready to rock and roll. Ryne Sandberg, nothing for 4. It'll be Sandberg, Boggs, and Evans due up here in the ninth. When we get to the bottom of the ninth for the 1960s, it will be the artillery coming up. Orlando Cepeda, Billy Williams, and Frank Robinson. 0-1 pitch on the way. Sandberg swings, long fly ball to right. Frank Robinson, just short of the track, makes the catch for out number 1. Brings up Wade Boggs now. Boggs, 2 for 4 in a big solo home run back in the 8th that gave the 1980s at that time a bit of cushion. And then all hell broke loose. Gary Carter went yard with a 3-run shot. 1-2 pitch on the way to Wade Boggs. Boggs swings and hard ground ball. Orlando Cepeda takes it on a nice hop. And 3 unassisted, 2 away for Darrell Evans. He is 0 for 3 in a walk. Eddie Fisher deals, 0-2 pitch. And this one, bounding ball back to the mound. Fisher off the bump to his left. Fires on to Cepeda for out number 3. We go to the bottom of the ninth. And the 1960s are going to need the Torah, the Quran, the Upanishads, and Colonel Sanders' secret recipe to pull off any sort of even getting close to the 1980s here. Steve Rogers, again, looking for a complete game. He's pitched a beauty here, had a no-hitter in the first 3 innings, and just that one run back in the 4th for the 1960s, and that was a Billy Williams RBI single, and that is it. All right, here we go. Cepeda, nothing for 3. His last time up, he grounded out to Steve Rogers. 1-1 pitch. Cepeda swings, and it's going to be a rip into Hernandez. 6-3, textbook putout. 1 away. Billy Williams now. And 3-1 pitch. Williams up the middle. Sandberg ranges to his right. Bare hands, fires on to Keith Hernandez. And it's down to the judge, Frank Robinson, who is 1 for 3. The wind and the 0-2 pitch. And Frank Robinson chasing one out of the zone. And that's the ball game. So the 1980s take this one 6-1. 6 runs, 8 hits, no errors. The 1960s, 1 run, 6 hit, no errors. So the 1980s improved to 9-3. 1960s fall to 7-5. No highlights for them. However, for the 1980s, swinging the lumber, gents. Wade Boggs goes 2 for 5 with a home run, 2 runs batted in. Gary Carter, 1 for 4, that big 3-run homer for him. Keith Hernandez went 1 for 2 with a double and 2 walks. Steve Rogers goes to 1-0. Don Drysdale falls to 1-1. So no triples in this game. I wouldn't expect it. Tim Raines does not extend his 7-game hitting streak. So there we go. Home runs in this game. Again, as we've already said, Wade Boggs and Gary Carter. So pitching, Drysdale just got bitch slapped. There's no other way to say it, man. Steve Rogers, 9 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, struck out 5. For the 1960s, Don Drysdale tagged with the loss, went 7 2/3, 8 hits, 6 runs, all earned, gave up those 2 dingers, walked 5, struck out 6. So it was ERA 2.40. It was at 0.86, I believe, when the game started. So Ted Abernathy worked a third of an inning, and then Eddie Fisher came in and worked the final out. And that is it. Your player of the game will probably be Steve Rogers, I'm pretty sure, because he pitched a gem here, guys. Steve Rogers is indeed your game MVP. All right, let's auto play some games here, just because we can. MV, how you doing? MV, how are you, my lad? All right, so the 1920s and the 19th century. We'll save this for Cousin Ken. This is Carl Mays versus Old Haas Radbourne. Both of these clubs at 4 wins and 7 losses. Because Old Haas is pitching, we'll save that for Cousin Ken for another night. Poor Drysdale tends to suffer in these leagues. How about it, MV? Oh, you are absolutely welcome, Cousin Ken. Thanks for coming in. All right, Gaylord Perry and Randy Johnson. Boy, I am loath to auto play this one, but they'll meet again early in the season. So here we go. Gaylord Perry 1-1 with a 2.65 earned run average. Randy Johnson 1-1, 4.11. And here we go. And the 2000s, all over the 1970s, 8-2. So Randy Johnson with the win. Perry takes the loss. Guerrero goes 2 for 4, hits his second home run of the season with 3 runs batted in. The 1900s versus the 1930s. Here's a hell of a matchup in terms of pitchers. Iron Man Joe McGinnity versus Lefty Grove. The 1900s at 4-7, in the 1930s at 7-4. But we're going to autoplay this one as well. And the 1930s edged the 1900s 7-6. Paul Derringer getting the win. Nap Rucker takes the loss. Charlie Gehringer goes 2 for 4. Hits his first home run of the season. 2 runs batted in. So we will save this one for a time when Cousin Ken can hang around and do another game. Carl Mays versus Old Haas Radbourne. Always up for an Old Haas. I know you are. I know you are, my friend. No question about that. So we're going to have a look at the standings here. I'll let them update. A few surprises here, I think. So the 1980s sit atop here of K2 right now, because these are all great decades. So they're a game in front of the 1940s and 1930s, who are each at 8-4. The 1960s, who you just saw play, they're 2 games above 500 and 2 games back at 7-5. The 1950s and the 1970s playing 500 ball, they're 3 games out. And then we got everybody else pretty much. The 1900s are in the cellar, 5 games out at 4-8. So some pretty good stuff. Ernie Banks has been an absolute beast. He's been the Nap Lajoie of this decade's league. So right now leading in batting average, home runs, and RBI. So very early going, but right now he's rocking the Triple Crown. How about it? Tim Raines with 7 steals. Joe Morgan with 16 run scores. Pitching side, again, really too early to look at things like earned run average, but Bob Feller outpacing everybody else. He has 4 wins. Saves, Dan Quisenberry and Hoyt Wilhelm, each with 3. Don Drysdale and Bob Feller, each with 33 strikeouts. Walter Johnson with a respectable 28. And Bob Feller has won all of his games. So he's go Bob Feller. Jerry Royce and Carl Hubble, each with 2. Your all-star team looks like this right now. An all-star lineup would be Bob Feller, pitching, Gary Carter catching. Then you got Cepeda at first, Gehringer at second, Schmidt at third, Banks at short, Rosen left, Joe DiMaggio in center, and Dwight Evans in right. So that is it, guys. Short one tonight, this 1 hour. So the 1800s decade punching above their weight in fielding percentage. Yeah, that's really, really interesting to see that with the 19th century with a team fielding average of 990. But how are the 1980s doing it? They're doing it with batting, of course. The 1960s hanging in there with pitching. So what's been surprising for me is the 2000s guys, right? The 2000s decade at 5 and 7. They've got. I mean, it's a good squad and everything. But the other big surprise, the 1940s, the decade that everybody says baseball is kind of meh, and I keep saying no, it wasn't meh. You had some excellent players in the 1940s, and sharing second place with the 1930s with an explosive offense there. But the 1940s, a nice surprise. So I should have prefaced that. I mean, looking at this 1940 squad here, I mean, when you've got Ralph Kiner and Mickey Vernon, Ken Keltner, Vern Stevens, Pee Wee Reese, Tommy Holmes, Lou Boudreau, Joe Gordon, Jackie Robinson, Enos Slaughter. Right now, Wally Moses and Ted Williams out, I think, with just a couple of days, might be some injuries or something. Not really quite sure what's going on. Pitching, not terribly, like, it's good. It's good for the 1940s. But it's not as strong as some of the other teams, which is, I mean, so Bob Feller, Hal Newhouser, Bucky Walters. But this isn't the strongest rotation in the game. You look at 1930s with whom they're sharing this, right? They're sharing. You've got Dizzy Dean, Lefty Grove, Carl Hubble, Paul Derringer. That's scary right there. And then, Lou Gehrig, Charlie Gehringer, Luke Appling, Mel Ott, Earl Averill, Jimmy Fox, Archie Vaughn, Harlan Cliff, Paul Wainer, Billy Herman, Ducky Medwick, Hank Greenberg, Lloyd Rayner right now inactive. But I mean, this 1930 squad, there's Gabby Hartnett, Bill Dickey, Al Simmons, old Bucketfoot Al's in there. Got to give Johnny Frederick some love here too, right? And Fat Freddie Lindstrom. So powerful team, and yet the 1940s keeping pace with these guys. 19th century stats, real life stats here right now. Yeah, let's go to their roster, and let's see what they're doing. We'll switch to real stats or replay stats right now. See who's doing what. And I know the guy you're interested in, of course, is Sliding Billy Hamilton. 4 stolen bases for him. Let me see. So home runs is Bid McPhee. Who's doing things average-wise? Jake Stenzel, who right now is inactive, but George Pinkney up there at 400 right now. So Dan Bruthers, Big Dan, and Sliding Billy Hamilton, each with 8 hits for the 18th century. I think the pitchers, though. Pitching right now, no pitchers with winning records. Pud Galvin is the 2-2. Old Haas at 1-2. Corcoran at 0-1. Tim Keefe 0-1. Guy Hecker, who right now is inactive. So they're getting hurt with pitching. Kind of suspected that would happen, though. I mean, look, this might be a rotation that might need a little shaking up. Maybe also, I mean, Corcoran is a spot starter, as is Mickey Welch. And if you guys remember, Mickey Welch didn't do well in the McGreevy League either. So not sure what's going on with Hall of Famer Mickey Welch, but kind of hard for him to get it done. I mean, right now, so see what Mickey right now, his ERA. Where's your ERA, Mickey? So yeah, Mickey hasn't even had that spot start. I'm wondering, cousin, if we put Larry Corcoran up there and maybe go with a 4-man rotation with these guys. What do you think? So Ken Castro, he is our 19th century expert. Bar none. What do you think? Corcoran maybe get him out of the spot start because he's not done anything yet this year. Yep. You want to move Corcoran up? All right, let's move Larry Corcoran. I'm just not. There we go. Well, so Mickey Welch. I think. God, I almost want to put. Let me look. Let's go back to real stats here for a second because it's going to tell us a lot. So you got Cy Young. I know MV, you're here. I know your feelings about Cy Young. I almost want to put Clarkson in as choice 2 for a spot starter. Let me see where he is in terms of bullpen. So not much of a bullpen going on here. Cy Young is the closer versus is the closer on this team. Gus McGinnis is the setup man. And McGinnis kind of getting, I don't know. I wonder too, what about this? What about if we put Mickey Welch in as setup man? What do you think? Because it seems like, I don't know. Let's see if McGinnis has even had a chance to do any setup work. Let's go to replay and see what's he's doing. So McGinnis right now is a 5.79 earned run average. 4 2/3 worked, and we're going into game 12 for the 19th century. 7.7 hits per 9 innings. He's striking out 7.7. He's pulling a Nolan Ryan here. He's also walking 7.7. And I'm just wondering if maybe Mickey Welch might be better in a setup. Let's see what Cousin Ken here has to say. I like Mickey Welch. I'd like to get Mickey Welch in here. No slam to the memory of Gus McGinnis, but if I can put a Hall of Famer in there, I'm going to put a Hall of Famer in there. So, and I think Mickey Welch would be a really, really good choice. Let McGinnis do mop up and long relief. I'm totally happy with that. I'm going to actually put him over there in long relief. All right. Yep, Mickey Welch. So let's put him in as setup. Mickey Welch is going to be the setup man on this team. And let's see if that will improve things for the 19th century. All right, there we go. And there's all their baseball cards. Those look so cool, don't they? So Old Haas getting off to a slow start, but never count Old Haas Radbourn out. Okay, let's get back to this rotation again. So we got Radbourn, Galvin, Keefe, and Corcoran doing a 4-man rotation here. Mickey Welch as a spot starter as well. Gus, you're just going to have to eat innings, and then we'll see what happens. Because you still got John Clarkson here. Will White once he's active. Pud Galvin, of course. Right now, the ace at 2-2. All right. The 1900s, you know what, while I'm here, because they're kind of my sentimental favorite. The pitchings, you got Cheeseboro, McGinnity, Mathewson, Mullen, Willis. Rube Waddell's a spot. Well, see, the one thing, there's a problem. I need a lefty in there. I'm like, where the hell is Rube Waddell? So Waddell is going to go in, and good God, who do I want to take out? Let's look at real stats or the replay stats. Let's see who's doing what here or who isn't doing what. George Mullen is 1-1. See, Addy Joss, I got to shake this thing up a little bit here. I got to shake it up. I'm fine with. So McGinnity is 1-1. He's all right. I'm a little concerned with Christy Mathewson. People are going to like, what are you talking about, Beatles? I almost want to move Mathewson into a different role. I don't think Maddie's getting it done. I'm on mute, but can someone type in the answer? In Alapark 26, there will be dynamic scoreboards. We'll add and modify his modems. Mike, I don't know if Mike's slow. Oh, that's right. Here I am talking to him and it's muted. Not sure if that will be possible. Hang on a second, guys. I am beta testing P26, but I haven't tried Mike Sparks yet. There we go. Yeah, I'm thinking I need a lefty in there anyhow, and I think that's one of the reasons why these guys are just getting their butts kicked. So Rube Waddell, I see that he's 0-1, but I don't have a lefty starter. Eddie Plank is not active right now. So I'm going to bring Rube in as my number 4 starter for right now. Actually, you know what? I'm going to switch him. Oh, I hate the way this game does this. I really hate the way this game does this. All right. So I'm going to leave Mathewson in. And I'm going to move him down to the number 4 spot. Christine not doing well. 6.19 earned run average. I should look and see which teams have been beating them up. Vic Willis, I think he's fine as a number 5 starter. Let's see what we got in the pen here. So Mathewson also getting some closing duties here, and maybe that's not such a good idea. I'm going to have to really, really look at this. Mop up, I don't really care. These guys are fine there. Long relief is okay. So the other thing you're going to notice, Three Finger Brown isn't even being like Brown's using long relief in his setup. But these guys can fill so many roles that I almost want to take Vic. Oh, yeah, look at that. Vic Willis got a 15.19 earned run average. So you know what? Three Finger Brown's coming in. Vic Willis going to take a seat. So Brown is going to be my number 5 starter, I think, for here. The last couple of years, have you seen fights and brawls ever since the full MLB license now, the Park 26? All right. So this is all going to be about just because there's some other guys in here. I mean, obviously, you know, once Addy Joss is activated, this guy's a beast everywhere. So nobody with a winning record here in the 1900s. I'm gonna look at my hitters here and I say my because this is like kind of like my team. So again, we're on replay stats. So Lajoie, Wagner, Roy Thomas is doing great. He's doing great so far. Only in 6 games, but Lajoie, I'm hitting 319 through 11 games. You know. So Kling and Bresnahan, kind of trying to split up time with Johnny Kling. I like Johnny Kling in there. Buck Freeman is underperforming a little bit. Let me see. I just want to get this line up here for a sec. All right, so we got Wagner leading off. Boy, I almost want Lajoie. Wagner, though, better base stealer, much better base stealer, even though the replay stats don't show that if we look at their real stats. I mean, Wagner is like the speed demon on this team. Elmer Flick is second. Flick not getting a lot of playing time either. He's mostly pinch hitting duties right now. So I have seen you hear them. They've been in Baseball for Windows. I've seen them in Action PC, but no, there have been no brawls, no fights in Out of the Park. So I don't even think they ever happened in MLB The Show either. I've never seen one in any sort of brawls in what Legends is doing in Franchise Sports Baseball League. So Franchise Stars Baseball League. So Yeah, I think John's right. Oh yeah, Outlaw Park Baseball used to have fights. It was pretty cool. But what's interesting though, and I know Christopher can't hear me, so I'm going to type this as I say it. But what's interesting is that is that the game allows intentional beatings, intentional hitting the batter. And still does, by the way, guys. There we go. Wow, Chris, there's a lot of typing here. I don't play non-majors, so I have no idea, my friend. Yeah, I don't do any minor league or any of that stuff. So, this is like analysis paralysis here. Damn it. Because the 19th century and the first decade of the dead ball era, I just really, there's guys here just not getting playing time that I think should. Elmer Flick needs to be in here more. This is not a home run. This is a fast team. I mean, everybody here is going to steal bases all day. Wagner leading the way. The 1910s, however, 1910s, they're 5-7, a bit better, and they're the tricky thing with the 1910s is I've got to try to sort of split playing time between Ty Cobb and Tris Speaker. Sam Crawford probably should be getting more starts than Chief Wilson at this point, but with that said, just going to knock out of there. Guys, thank you for joining. So this broadcast went an hour and 16 minutes one more time. Just quick reminders, check out Franchise Stars, Baseball League Season 4, Legend Sports Universe, awesome stuff. 1983 replay on RJO Network, the Gaylord Perry replay using Strat Advanced, Clee Baseball Fan 879, and the 1976 Bicentennial Baseball Tournament on Our Red Sox Fan. Deadball will be returning to the channel. Next game we do is actually going to be Ken's team versus my team. Or no, I'm sorry, the 1920s versus Ken's team. So still, I'm a 1920s fan as well. So Carl Mays versus Larry Corcoran, and on that 1920 squad, there's a couple scary dudes on here. So it should be a lot of fun. Until the next time, family, see you around the batting cage. Good night.